Remember 2023? Everyone was talking about building a chatbot. Everybody. Your company built one. Your competitor built one. Honestly, I'm fairly certain my local chippy was a week away from building one. And what did most of them actually do? They let you chat with a PDF. Brilliant, revolutionary, groundbreaking. A PDF that you could chat with. We called it AI Revolution. What it actually was a parlor trick with a language model slapped on top of a document. Now it's 2026. The reckoning has arrived. The AI bubble isn't bursting, it's maturing. And that means a lot of the flashy nonsense is getting quietly shown to the door. Today, we're talking about what's actually happening and, more importantly, what you need to do about it. 5 chapters, no waffle. Let's go. While 40% of agentic pilots will fail by 2027, and how not to be one of them. Let's start with a stat that should make every CTO put their coffee down. In June 25, Gartner, not some excitable LinkedIn influencer, published a research forecast with one very clear headline. Over 40% of agentic AI projects will be cancelled by the end of 27. And the reasons? Escalating costs, unclear business value, inadequate risk controls. In plain English, companies are rushing to build AI agents without knowing the problem they're solving, how much it's going to cost them, or how it's going to stop them going rogue on a Thursday afternoon. Gartner coined a phrase that vendors are doing about it: agent washing. That's where you take an existing chatbot or a bit of old automation, slap the word agentic on the tin, and then flog it at a premium. Sounds pretty familiar. Of the thousands of vendors claiming they offer something different, Gartner estimates only 130 actually have AI capabilities out of thousands. So what makes a project survive the coal? This one will make 2028 are doing 3 things differently. They're starting with a workflow problem, not a technology. They're integrating deeply into existing systems rather than floating on top of them. And they're building for enterprise-wide productivity, not just automating one inbox or Dave in accounts. The chatbot era was skin deep. This era demands architecture. Right, let's talk about where your AI actually lives. For the past few years, the answer was simple. Bung it all in the public cloud. AWS, Azure, Google, your prompts, your data, your customer information, all happily floating up there in someone else's data center in Dublin or somewhere like that. And for many use cases, that's fine. But as AI moves from answering questions to taking actions, calling APIs, reading databases, making decisions, suddenly where your data lives matters. And that's what people mean by data gravity. Sensitive data has weight. Compliance. It has latency implications, has growing number of regulatory implications, especially if you're operating anywhere near GDPR. What's emerging is the answer is the hybrid AI factory, a model where your most sensitive computation stays on-prem or in private cloud environment, while your less critical workloads scale out to public infrastructure. Think of it less as a cloud strategy, more like your kitchen. Your prep work, sensitive ingredients, they stay in the back, and the stuff you're happy serving publicly goes out front. You need both. The mistake was pretending everything should live in the same place. Organizations getting this right in 2026 aren't just picking a cloud provider, they're designing AI infrastructure with the same seriousness as their network security. Here is the problem that every enterprise has quietly been suffering with for the last 18 months. You've got a shiny new AI system, you've got a legacy ERP that was built during the Blair administration, and getting them to talk to each other requires a custom integration that takes 3 months, costs a fortune, and breaks every time someone updates either system. Sound familiar? Of course it does. Enter MCP. Launched by Anthropic in November 2024, it's an open standard that gives AI agents a universal way to connect to data sources, tools, and external systems. The numbers here are generally striking. MCP server downloads went from roughly 100k in November to 8 million by April 2025. There are now over 5,000 MCP servers available, and it's not just an Anthropic thing. OpenAI adopted it across their agent SDK. Google DeepMind confirmed support. It's donated to newly formed Agentic Foundation under the Linux Foundation, with Microsoft, AWS, Cloudflare, and Bloomberg as supporting members. Gartner's own analysis predicts that by 2025, 75% of API gateway vendors and 50% of integration platform vendors will have MCP features built in. Think about what that means, the interoperability problem. Most enterprises' AI projects stall because they reach production and it's being solved at a protocol level. Your AI can now talk to your CRM, your legacy ERP, your compliance database with 3 months of custom engineering every time. It's not a small thing. It's unlocking AI for the entire enterprise market. I know the word governance just made half of you click away. Come back. This is the chapter that actually matters. There's a persistent myth in technology, especially amongst the myth of move fast, break things crowd. That governance is the energy of innovation. That compliance frameworks slow you down. The guardrails are just corporate bureaucracy dressed up in new clothes. That belief is costing organizations millions. Here's the reality. When AI systems take actions, not just produce text, the absence of governance doesn't set you free. It paralyzes you. Your legal team won't approve deployment, your CISO won't sign off, your board will ask questions you can't answer, and the project sits in limbo, burning budget, going nowhere. Governance, done properly, is what actually gets these systems into prod. The teams that are deploying AI at scale in 2026 aren't the ones who ignored the rules. They're the ones who built the rules into the architecture from day one. Clear audit trails, defined permissions, human-in-the-loop checkpoints for high-stakes decisions, role-based access for what agents can and can't touch. The EU AI Act is already here. The regulated industries, finance, healthcare, legal, are already operating under scrutiny. The operations that built governance frameworks before they needed them are now shipping faster than the cowboys who skipped that step. Guardrails aren't the brakes. They're the tires. You don't go faster by removing them. So what does this actually look like in practice? Because I know some of you are sitting there thinking, right, I get a theory, but what does a well-functioning AI-powered organization look like in 2026? The short answer is, it looks nothing like the org charts from 3 years ago. The trend that's actually taking hold, and this is visible across financial services, media, logistics, professional services, is what I call the lean tech org. Smaller headcounts, tighter scope, but dramatically higher throughput. The key shift is this. Humans are no longer doing the tasks. Humans are orchestrating the agents that do the tasks. The best developers aren't writing boilerplate code. Agents are doing that. Your analysts aren't pulling reports. Agents are surfacing insights and flagging anomalies. Your customer service team isn't handling routine queries. Agents handle tier 1, humans handle escalations. What this demands is a different kind of skill set. The most valuable person in 26 isn't necessarily the best prompt engineer. It's the person who understands system design well enough to architect how humans and agents work together, who decides what, when, with what permission, and with what fallbacks. This shift from operator to orchestrator standardized their agent tooling and invested in observability so that they can actually see what their agents are doing, and they've built feedback loops so the systems improve over time. This is the 2026 tech stack, not a collection of tools, a system. Let me land this cleanly. The competitive edge in 2026 isn't who has access to the best AI model, Claude, GPT, Gemini. At this point, the models are increasingly commoditized. Everyone has access to powerful inference. What separates the winners from the ones stuck in endless pilot mode is orchestration, it's data architecture, it's governance, it's the quality of integration between AI systems and the humans working alongside them. The chatbot era gave you a shiny thing to demo in a boardroom. The architecture era is what builds actual businesses. So if you're still thinking in terms of which chatbot should we use, it's time to change the question. Stop being a prompt engineer, start being a systems architect. If this was useful, subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know where you think your organization actually sits right now. Is it architecture or is it still chatting with PDFs? I'll see you in the next one.